Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. The deadline to implement the controversial border arbitration ruling between Croatia and Slovenia expired today. Slovenia has announced that it will begin unilaterally implementing the ruling on the maritime border tomorrow. Zagreb, which does not recognize the arbitration ruling, has warned Slovenia against doing so. Croatia withdrew from the arbitration in 2015 after Slovenia was caught in a material breach of the court's fundamental principles. Croatian fishermen in Savudrija Bay went about their business as usual today.
I don't know how this will be resolved in the end. Our police are here. We went out this morning. The Slovene police came and warned us that we were in their territorial waters. We continued with our work, and that was that. They left. We didn't have any incidents with them. There hasn't been a single incident. As for the land and maritime border, if they were to ask the people who live in border areas, a solution would be found immediately.
Interior Minister Davor Božinović announced today that he does not expect any unilateral moves from Slovenia that would undermine the existing border regime between the two countries. He added that the police would react to any border infractions and preserve the sovereignty of Croatian territory on land and at sea.
Croatian patrol boats were alongside Croatian fishing boats today. A Slovene patrol boat entered Croatian waters and was issued a warning that it was within Croatian territorial waters. Afterwards, it withdrew from Croatian territory. The Croatian patrol and fishing vessels stayed where they were.
Meanwhile, the Slovene Foreign Ministry has issued Zagreb 2 diplomatic notes. In the first, it calls on Croatia to engage in dialogue on the implementation of the ruling, and in the second, it accuses Croatia of violating the maritime border at least 1,400 times in the 6 months since the arbitration ruling.
Slovenia respects the border demarcation and expects Croatia to do the same. Slovenian institutions have not and will not instigate border incidents, because they are conducting their activities exclusively within the territory of the Republic of Slovenia.
Croatian law professor Vesna Crnić-Grotić warned today that the international community does not look kindly on unilateral interventions that can lead to incidents. She added that both countries were called on to avoid precisely that kind of situation. Slovenian reporter Marta Razboršek claims that the European Border and Coast Guard Agency, Frontex, has recognized the controversial maritime border.
Frontex recognizes the maritime border. The Slovenian police are advising Frontex about incidents at the border and will continue to do so for any possible future incidents, which can only be instigated by the Croatian side. Right now we have a stalemate or status quo situation, in which neither side is willing to abandon their position, and there is no indication that this will change. I expect the European Commission to take a more active role in the matter, and that it try to bring the two sides closer together, because after all, both Croatia and Slovenia are members of the European Union.
According to the State Statistics Bureau, consumer spending saw strong year-on-year growth in November. This is a record 39th consecutive month of growth. Employment is also on the rise, with 54,000 more people employed than at the same time last year, while the number of unemployed has dropped to 166,000. Meanwhile, industrial turnover saw a year-on-year increase of 7.6% in October and a month-on-month increase of 3.7%. The new legislation on transport and road traffic, which is expected to liberalize the market, has brought 2,500 taxi drivers in Croatia to their feet. Today, they delivered thousands of letters to the Transportation Ministry containing a litany of objections and suggestions.
We have brought thousands of letters here today. That is 75 to 76,000 letters with objections to the legislation. Objections we feel are very important and which we want the ministry to take into account, because we have based them on our own personal experience.
As of January 1st, 2018, Croatian citizens will be able to file passport requests electronically. The service will be available to citizens who have electronic ID cards, as photographs, fingerprints, and signatures will be drawn from the Interior Ministry's database. The price of a new passport will remain the same, and for an additional 30 kuna, it will be delivered to the holder's home address.
I am very pleased that the Interior Ministry, in its segment of government's overall effort, is modernizing its administrative activities, which is first and foremost to the benefit of our citizens.
And taking a quick look at sports, in EBIL Hockey League action, Medveščak beat Austrian side Graz 3-1 in Zagreb last night. This is the second consecutive win for new coach Doug Bradley. The Bears are currently 7th in a 12-team league. And now the forecast for tomorrow. Variable cloud cover with sunny spells, primarily in the east and south of the country. There could be some morning fog in the interior. There will be a mild to moderate northwesterly and westerly on the coast, shifting to a southwesterly and southeasterly in the evening. Morning lows of -7 to -2 degrees Celsius in the interior, +2 to 7 on the Adriatic, will give way to highs of 3 to 8 degrees inland, 8 to 13 on the coast. The 3-day forecast for the interior calls for southerly winds and relatively warm temperatures going into the new year. Predominantly dry, however, there could be some rain in Gorski Kotar. Increased cloud cover on the first day of the new year will bring with it more rain. Expect sleet and snow in mountainous regions. The coast will also see southerly winds and warmer temperatures over the weekend, and increased cloud cover with rain on Monday. Expect variable weather on Tuesday. And that wraps up the news. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night.